and welcome to episode 376 of the Awesome Comics Podcast, the place where the small press makes one hell of a big noise. I'm Vince Hunt, and joining me as always is the creator of the webcomic Vanguard, Dan Butcher.
Hello.
And the man who's a beast, the Running Man. He's so fit, so unbelievably fit, and doesn't he know it? It's Tony Esmond.
Hello.
Hello everyone, it's just the three of us this week.
Yeah, no guest.
Yeah. Some good old-fashioned comics talk. I know you lovely people out there like it sometimes when we just go off on one for an episode. There will be. We asked our lovely listeners for some questions, and they did not disappoint. So we've got a few questions to answer. We've got some recommends later in the show. And it's just going to be nonsense for the next couple of hours.
Oh, I've got to give some feedback on Bridlington as well, haven't I? I forgot about that.
Indeed. Blimey, already I can't. I'm so excited, I don't know what to talk about. Actually, probably I should start with thanking our sponsors, Comic House.
Yay.
Yes. Lovely Comic House, who are still with us after all this time. No, they are our sponsors, and they are a brilliant place, an indie marketplace that loves indie comics as much as we do. And we like them quite a bit because we talk about them every week. So there you go.
I did a bit of guerrilla marketing on for Comic House.
Did you dress up like a gorilla?
No, sadly not. That would have been a better option. But I posted up a video of me using the app in like a comic creators group because they were talking about why doesn't there an app exist that's like Comixology? And I was like, well, what about this? Comic House.
Ah, there.
Nice. There you go. He's earning
going above and beyond there.
We don't even get any more money for that, do we?
No. But
payment to access to the app is more than enough for
exactly. Because if you go to their digital app, there's loads of stuff on there at the moment. If you go to comichouse.com, you'll see there's a huge selection of titles on the database itself. And if you self-publish your own comics, you can add yours on there. And it's another avenue to get your books out into the wide world, as is the app that Dan has been shilling to anyone and everyone that listen. And it's a brilliant app. There's loads of small press and indie comics from all over the world on there, being added to all the time. What's on there at the moment, Dan?
We've got Cinevore issue 1, Submit or Die volume 1 issue 1, Samantha Fucks the World volume 1, and Caspian Porter volume 1 issue 2, The Savage Outcasts of Rooster Valley. There you go.
Ooh, I like that. I like the emphasis you put in that, Dan.
No, I remember I gave this the big talk about last week. The Caspian Porter.
Oh, okay. Of course you did, yeah.
He's riding a big dinosaur.
And
it feels like an eternity because we've last recorded on a Friday, didn't we?
Don't show them behind the curtain.
Oh, sorry. Yeah.
I like them riding.
No, they know we're unprofessional. Especially Comic House, because they've had to listen to these sponsorship ads for ages. But thank you very much to them for sponsoring the show. If you're a creator as well and you have work on the app, you can add profile pictures, social media links and stuff. So if people read your comic and want to know where to find more, it's a perfect sort of drug. Just put it in your veins.
Like other comic apps, when you click on the creator's name, you can see the entire list of comics that they've worked on. And if they're on the app, you can read them.
Exactly. And there's guests old and probably new on there. And if you want to find out more and start a 14-day free trial, go to comichouse.com today. Today, the day that you're listening to us.
On a well, it may not be a Monday.
A Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday.
Statistically, it may be Monday to Wednesday, but it can be other days.
Yeah. Or it could be other months, could be other years, whenever you listen to this show.
Hopefully not Sunday, that's the Lord's Day.
Exactly.
What's happening?
Or Christmas Day, that's for little baby Jesus.
Yeah, no one listens to us on Christmas Day. I'll tell you what, if
not even our wives.
I do.
If any of our lovely listeners listen to this show, not this particular episode, but if you're a regular listener, if you listen to our episode on Christmas Day and you show us proof of it, all three of us will draw something for you.
Hey?
Yes, you as well, Tony, because
I'll draw around something for you.
You've been using the charcoals and the crayons.
I feel like if you're listening to the show on Christmas Day, you got to make some changes in your life.
Yeah, exactly. the thing is, this is.
Has anyone cranked whilst listening to us? That's what I'd like.
Please, I'd never want to know that.
What about if it's a lady?
Well, I presume that's already happened.
No. No one should ever watch the Jason Statham films Crank while they're listening to us. But you see, you guys, you totally missed our. I offered something to people
A drawing
that they're clearly never going to receive because no one's going to listen to this show on Christmas Day.
Well, our listeners are nothing but contrarians, and they will listen to it.
Yeah.
I'm going to create a false profile just to get you to draw me something.
Oh, actually, no. Let's make it interesting. We're talking about this particular episode.
If
you go back,
what number is this?
376. If you go back and listen to 376 on Christmas Day,
76.
Yeah, and you can prove it to us, then
we'll do a drawing.
We'll do a drawing, and we won't tell you what it's of.
You have to include the fact that you listen to this episode, the fact that you're listening, some proof that you're listening to it on Christmas Day, and a picture of you naked.
Yeah. No, what?
What?
No, Tony. What have I told you about opening the door?
They don't have to.
What have I told you about opening? This is.
That's an okay door. The naked door is all right.
The naked door.
What's behind this door?
No, the naked door is never all right. But I tell you what is all right.
What if it's in Carolyn Monroe's house? Then it's okay.
Well, as long as she knows you're there. Otherwise, no, dude, it's not. It's not right. If she's not where you're there. No, it's not right. It's like 1 hour photo.
Well, I'm the blinds guy.
Oh God. It's gonna be that kind of week this week.
Yeah.
But before we get stuck into some listener questions and probably just laugh more than we rightfully should about stupid stuff, Tony, you have a little out and about report, don't you?
Yeah.
Con report.
I know, it's been a while since we've had a con report, isn't it? It feels like it's ages.
Mm.
Yeah.
Really?
When was the last con? I suppose it was when I went to the States, wasn't it? That was the last con.
Yeah, I think so.
Because we didn't record at a different time last week, you would have been aware that I was at Bridlington Comic Con. Thanks to Andy Hampel, a listener, for inviting us. So it was a Sunday con, which is an interesting dynamic, actually.
Yeah.
Most of the stuff we do Saturday, isn't it? I'm going to say.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it had a little bit of a different feel to it. I got there on the Saturday because it's about a 4-hour drive for me. So I drove up there and stayed in a hotel opposite, which was an awful hotel, but quite convenient. When I got, so you could set up from, I think, like midday or something on the Saturday to 4 o'clock, which is a good idea as well. So I thought, I'm just going to put my head in, reserve my table with the tablecloth and stuff, because I haven't got that much stock like some of these people, and just see what's going on, It was good because there was a couple of back issue sales tables there that I managed to buy some back issues on the Saturday before they opened, which was always fun. So I did that, and Andy was there, and I spotted him. We've never actually met before, but I spotted him from his photograph, I think, on the group or something. And as I walked up to him, I could hear he was talking to someone like it was an interview. And he was talking about small press and the sort of benefits creatively of small press, and it's a really growing field and all this sort of thing. And I thought, I was sort of clocking, that's really interesting what you're saying there. And so I waited for him to finish, gave it 5 minutes, and then went over and introduced myself, And he was great. And he said, I've just been on the radio talking about the Comic-Con. So he was promoting the small press area at the Comic-Con on the radio, which is great as well. When have we ever had that? It's nice, isn't it?
Yeah, it's really good.
Yeah, so those that don't know and perhaps haven't listened to previous episodes, he gave to small press creators, we got a free table. And I think there was, 7 or 8 of us, I think. And we got the top balcony of, it's like a concert venue, we got the balcony, basically. It's not a top balcony, it's just the balcony, which historically has been an issue, isn't it? And I remember that's what the London Film and Comic Con people were, part of what they were moaning about was the balcony, wasn't it? But this one was, he made the efforts to send people up there. So he would announce on the tannoy system all the time that we were up there. And what he did is at one end of so you come in one door, and it's like not a circular balcony, but it goes backwards and forwards, So at one end was the comic art exhibition from John Cooper, and at the other end was the quite cunningly was the Lego activity centre, and in front of our tables was the sort of rest area where all the people could sit and watch what was going on over the balcony. So it was really busy. The footfall was great. So just some of the names. So I went out on the Saturday night with Andy and his mate Gideon and a guy called Tony, and I was joined by Mr. and Mrs. PXD. They came out, and so it became quite a boozy night out the night before. So that's quite nice, isn't it? It's like the old school conventions, isn't it? So at it was Mr. and Mrs. PXD. They had a table next to me. Damien and Helena, so they were releasing Art 92 there. They were launching Clear Run from Art 92. Ian Ashcroft brought his daughter Eva along, and gave me some great artwork. Actually, I don't know if have you seen some of Eva's artwork?
Didn't he post them in the ACP Slack group?
I think he did. We're not allowed to swear in this bit because he's going to let her listen to it.
Okay.
But yeah, really impressive. You can see that the old art genes have been passed down there. I've got to tell you. So Ian and Eva were there. A lady called Una, who's a small press comics creator, who was hilarious, and we had a good chat with her. Gemma Sharp was there. Finally got to chat to her. I mentioned her books a few times, and I just sort of was up and down chatting to people throughout the day. We did okay for sales, man. We didn't do brilliantly, but we did pretty well. You know, better than some conventions. I think I sold more there than I did at Thought Bubble. You know, and we were just sort of generally chatting, and it was a nice environment. And I think it was like 11 to 4. I'm going to say off from memory.
Okay.
Nice, easy setup and breakdown. Nice in and out of the venue. We got to you're like this. We got to use the green room there. He cunningly let us use the green room, which was nice because it was air conditioned, and there was free teas and coffees, free sandwiches, free Twiglets, you know, this sort of thing, biscuits. So I saw Sean Azzopardi come back with like 8 cups of coffee in his hand, you know, pockets full of Twiglets. And but I missed this. So Andy, I won't say who because it would be wrong of me to divulge the person who did this. But Andy come up and says, "We've had a bit of a drama in the green room, Tony." I went, "Oh right, okay." And he said, someone has kicked off in there. One of the celebrities has kicked off in there because there was no plate for his sandwich. And I won't say who it is. I can't say who it is, Ma. Anyway, I won't say who that is.
I don't get the reference, so I don't have to get it after the show.
I'll text you with it in a minute.
Yeah.
But it was all right, man. I had a good time. We did have a laugh. So we met in the hotel bar, and whilst they were having bingo, and we got quite heavily shushed by the bingo ladies. That was quite hilarious.
That's fucking serious business.
Yeah, we were chatting, and I heard this loud shush, and I went, "Did we just get shushed?" And he went, "Yeah, that was us." Yeah. And then the worst comedian on the planet, who is described as the top Yorkshire comedian, Joey Howard, on the billboard downstairs, turned up, who we then immediately Googled, and he got buzzed off 4 buzzers on Britain's Got Talent.
I did watch that. It was fucking... that was sank.
Yeah. Yeah, so it was worthwhile. I would say if you're local, definitely do it. He's trying to open it up to having a small press comics area. There were back issue sellers there. It is generally a sort of celeb and cosplay and Funko and T-shirts and stuff like that. It's one of those conventions. Of course it is. It has to be at that, I think, to survive in a town like this, you know.
Yeah.
But he is making the effort to make it for small press, and I know he's maybe next week. I've got the date in front of me for the new one, but it's open again for next year.
Oh, so, fair play to him, man. Anyone can fucking get up their ass and do a con.
Yeah. And we all had a laugh. We all sort of swapped each other's comics, and you know, it was a bit like that. Yeah, I enjoyed it, man. And thanks to Andy for inviting us, because it was a chuckle. And he, as a convention organizer, he put that effort out to like meet up with us in the evening, have a beer, have a chat about the scene, you know, that sort of thing. So yeah, I found it a very positive experience. And nobody moaned about it. No, everyone thought it was great. You know, it's a free table.
Yeah,
you know, it's nice to see Ian, nice to see Damien. I think it was Damien and Helena's first con since COVID.
Okay.
Which was pretty good. And I saw that Clear Run was sort of doing really well, I think. That was good.
I'm going to be talking about it later. I think that book could do well at other events, not just the comic.
Yeah, I think so.
Con.
Yeah.
It's got that kind of appeal.
Yeah. But the Green Room was funny.
Yeah. Kicking off a fucking...
We've had an incident.
Plate for a sandwich. Come on, man.
Yeah. I'm texting you now.
Oh God.
With who it was.
Oh God.
Well, at least he's staying in character.
Yeah.
Where's the fucking plate for the sandwich? Boom, boom, boom.
Right, Ma.
Thankfully, we're not divas like that, because we eat out of bins and off floors whenever we're at a convention, so we keep it classy.
I've doing a few things at conventions, I can tell you that.
But speaking of classy, we had, like I say, we put a shout out to some questions to our lovely listeners, all you wonderful people out there. I mean, it'd be fairly last minute, the call for questions.
We've got loads still coming in now.
But, like, there's loads.
A lot.
We had loads. And I think, although sometimes I don't, I think if you ask earlier in the week, that doesn't necessarily mean you're going to get more questions, because it's just whenever anyone sees the post, isn't it? So, obviously, lightning struck, and thank you to everyone that responded on
Went viral
on the Twitters. Not the first
did
time
have
that we've all gone viral.
A lot of
Very
questions
true.
between ourselves, didn't we? Made up, and then we thought, oh fuck, we'll stick them on the back burner.
Yeah.
And
Do we
deal
want to
with
do
what we
two of those first? Because one of them does tie into one of the questions we got, didn't it?
Yes, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so how do you want to start this off? I mean,
Should we start with the dinner party one? That's a nice fun one to start with.
I've got the list in front of me in the Twitter. So,
Shall we do the ones that we did in the WhatsApp first? So the first one we'll do is comics dinner party. You get to invite 2 creators, they can be living or dead, and 1 comics character. So I think I'm going to... Shall I say my one?
Yeah.
So I'm going to have Stan and Jack, and
Oh man. Yeah.
me, and Ben Grimm.
Oh, that's a good one, man.
That's where I'd sit there. I'd sit there having a chat with them. Ben Grimm, he's the heart and soul of the Marvel universe, isn't he?
I feel like they would all get on there.
Yeah, I think so.
Not sure
yeah.
you'd be able to get a word in edgeways, T. But
No, yeah. Get thrown out because the thing and Jack are smoking cigars. You know, it'd be one of those, wouldn't it?
yeah.
You know.
Yeah. What about you, Dan?
I had mine, and then Tony's kind of like, after hearing his, he's kind of like rocked mine a little.
Oh no, go on.
I think I'd really like to speak to Kirkman as a writer. Like,
Okay.
I've kind of really like his stuff and the way he approaches stuff. I feel like kind of I could fucking gas all night for that man. After doing some art today, like I was looking at it for his stuff, and it's Jeff Darrow. I don't know anything about the guy, but just to kind of like
It's funny.
Okay.
He's done Thought Bubble a few times.
Oh really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, he's a
I'd
really
love
nice
a chance-
dude.
love a chance
Very
to meet him.
dry. Yeah.
And the character, that's a fucking hard one, man. I did think like Superman, something like that. Cause,
Vampirella.
yeah, that'd be great. That would be fucking great. Yeah.
Vampirella, Red Son, yeah.
I'd go for someone a bit off
Elvira.
the wall like that.
Yeah.
Well, my dinner party, for the creators, I'd have Dan Butcher and Tony Esmond.
Hey!
And for the guest, I'd have Lady Death.
Oh, yes. We'd all give it a go, wouldn't we?
Yeah.
All try and chat her up.
Yeah.
If you could have sex
We'd
with
all get
Lady
brutally
Death,
we'd all get brutally murdered.
But if you could have sex with her for a night, would you, knowing that you'd die at the end of it, would you do it?
No.
I would. Be worth it, wouldn't it?
Gotta die
Dan?
sometime. Gotta die sometime.
Yeah.
But what if? Okay. Let's add a layer to this then.
Yeah.
What if halfway through the act it's not very good?
Well, it's going to be because I'm good, aren't I?
What if she isn't very good?
In
God,
what
is
way
she
do you
listening?
what way
Is
do you
she
mean
listening?
not good? What way do
Starfish.
you mean not good?
What? Dan?
You brought it here.
No, I didn't.
You open the door, Vince. Don't
Oh,
open
no.
the door if you don't want it, Vince.
Oh God, the naked door was opened, and that's why you shouldn't open it. That's why you shouldn't open
Anyway.
it. Anyway.
Yeah. Good. Right, next question.
It'd be a fondue party, clearly. Make it that way.
Balloons
Don't
and
like
everything.
that. Sharing food is not the done thing, man.
Oh, that's not. That's the thing you have a problem with.
Yeah, not
Yeah.
a dirty brown eye in your eye.
I've no qualms about that.
I would do anything for love, but I'm not doing that.
I'm not doing that.
I'm not sharing a fondue.
I'd do anything for love, but I won't take it up with Gary Glitter. That classic Viz cover. One of my favourites ever.
Oh God. Anyway, what was the second question?
Fuck me, we've taken this fucking off road already.
Let's
alright,
just
it's gone
fucking
alright.
go for it.
Yeah.
I don't care.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Next one's
Woo!
a serious one. So next one
Go.
is quite a serious one. So it's how do you benchmark your progress as a creator? Now this can also add into the one we got from Tom Stewart, Uramix, URAMYX on Twitter. Do you feel that profit means anything when selling comics? Or is it about getting your comics in front of folks? And does it mean nothing about it? Is it just about getting your ideas on the printed page? I've reduced that question, but yeah. So I think they can both be joined.
Yeah.
So guys, what do you think? Do you want to go D?
I honestly think this one, I've been pondering this for a couple of weeks.
Yeah.
And it is massively subjective because some people, like the first time they ever make their own comic and it gets printed, delivered to them, they fucking made it. Like that's it. Like
Yeah.
they've ticked that box. If they want to go on and do further from there, it's kind of up to them. The kind of person who sees that wants to. I'm not casting aspersions on anyone. Like if they want to make a comic and right, I want to make money out of this, that's fine. And they may, if they earn £1,000 on this comic, 2,000.
Look, if their intention is going into it to make money, I've got no problem. It's the way that they then go about selling it that sometimes I feel is embarrassing, shameless, trashy. Sometimes, that's when I have the problem. But if you're going into the world to make a comic to make money, then I've got no problem with that. That's as a sentiment for me. Yeah.
Say if I did a Kickstart a couple of comics, and my second comic earned £2,000, and the next one made £5,000. Is that third comic better than the second comic because they made double the money?
No,
that's what I mean. Like, how would you benchmark the fact that has my craft improved? Has my writing improved?
I agree, man. I like you. I've thought about this a lot, and to me, sales mean nothing. Social media clout means absolutely nothing. It means reviews mean nothing. It's all inauthentic measurements for my comic.
You can't. How many things that the likes gets on social media or whatever like that is a fucking empty purse.
I think
it's constant chasing of retweets. Isn't it? I find it very embarrassing.
I think one of the most valuable things in a comic creator's existence, no matter them being like the biggest names in the industry or someone just starting out. Never mind how many you sell, the numbers don't matter. Whether it be I'm getting to the point in a second. In terms of like how many retweets you got, how many copies you've sold, how many likes you had on social media, all this stuff. The most important thing is your reputation. And because you could be as successful as anything for a good couple of years, and if you act like a dick, it will go. There will be publishers that won't work with you because of your reputation.
That's where it's gone, isn't it? That's the modern world, I think.
Yeah. It's not just this person's selling a lot. This person's selling a lot, and they were horrible at this place, or they were horrible at that. They're difficult to work with.
That gets around, without doubt.
Yeah. And sometimes you have to be careful. It's dangerous because the reputation also falls into that he said, she said, that they said. All of that. I think, which is why some of the strongest lights for me with the sort of up and comers, I say up and comers, they're now legit mainstreamers, are the people who are just doing the work and promoting the work and just read this, it's good. We always go back to Ram V, but I always do. But he's just a guy that just.
Martin Simmons.
Martin Simmons. Yeah. These are good people who are just doing the work, loving the work, promoting.
And you know who's the new one of those? Hopefully, Edison Neo. He's the new guy.
Yeah. Be speaking a bit more about him later. Yes, it's just people that are just like, just read. This is just good comics. Look, it's
weird, man, because I want to sort of almost bring it back into something away from that. I don't. Only this is personally how I feel about it. So when the question that Dan posed is how do you benchmark your progress, which is which we kind of link to the sales thing, which I think is an inauthentic linking in a way. Let's keep using that word. But,
but some people would mark it that way.
Yes, exactly, and that's why we. I agree, man. Yeah, and that's why we talked about it together. But the how do you benchmark your own progress is, I think it's not a competition in this world. It's purely an art form, and as I create it, it's different because I'm a writer, I suppose. But as I'm writing it, I want to look at it and I want to make sure that I'm doing my best work.
That's
exactly
I'm communicating.
It. And I'm communicating what I want to communicate in the way I want to do it in a comic.
Yeah,
that's everything. It's the taking a little bit of me, taking a little bit of what I want to do, and being successful in communicating and creating what I want to do. And if I'm doing that, and because I write all different kinds of books as we all do, if I'm doing that, then I find that I'm happy. I'm never satisfied. No, I know there's always something different I could do with a book, but I'm happy with the creation.
That's the creative
mindset.
That's
all I want to do.
Yeah.
Anything beyond that, getting it printed and in your hand is kind of nice, but that's to me that's the bit that really, really sparks for me. That I really feel enriched if I get it on paper and I get this out and I express myself in a way I want to do. And I think if that's what you want to do and you're just interested in it as an art form, that's all I want to do personally.
I think like further to that, as an art form, when you're working on these things, I think as every individual is everyone's constantly learning and growing just in every form of your day-to-day life. And it's never more prevalent than with the creative stuff. You constantly want to feel like you're just growing. If you're making the same thing over and over and over and over again, personally, I don't see how anyone can be creatively sort of fulfilled with that. I mean, I think you want to look back at the work you've done and be pleased with it. You can be. There are people who have written stuff that they have absolutely loved. It's probably may have been a critical and financial failure, and that's heartbreaking. But at least they'll look at that work and go, "I'm really pleased with what I did."
See, the thing is, though, that the financial thing is neither here nor there. Look at some of the great popular things throughout history; they've been absolute shit. 20 million people watch the X Factor; it's still crap. But the thing about the critical thing, I think, is also now a false lead.
Yes, the critical.
It's so besmirched by what they think people want to say, who's fucking selling them the preview
we saw it early, and we don't want to lose the connection to seeing things early, so we can't say anything bad.
So there's very few reviewers with credibility, I think, and I think both those things, you can disregard them these days. If you're creating something, don't worry about it.
I feel like kind of feedback is kind of a useful tool. Like if you can get a couple of people,
only if it's coming from an honest place, Dan. That's what I think.
If you can get a couple of people who can be real with you and say, look, this is really working or this isn't working, that is absolutely invaluable as a creator. And because I feel like how do I calibrate myself with what I'm doing is better than what I did a week ago. Do you know what I mean? And it's trying to find those reference points.
You're the critic yourself as well, though, aren't you? Like with the
you've got to be honest with yourself,
because you'll look back on the creators that we are now are not the creators that we were 5 years ago. Do you know what I mean? That doesn't mean that the work 5 years ago was bad. Quite the contrary.
Yeah,
it can be amazing. But sometimes it's interesting to look back and just be like, oh, well, I do that differently, but I'm...
Yeah. But it's just like the kind of the ability to judge your perceived growth or not. Like, we've all come across creators who kind of like think what they're doing now is what they've done it better in the past or whatever. And then you think, well, actually, I'm not sure about that, mate. Like... I feel like what you did a couple of years ago, I feel you really found your groove, but now you've kind of not...
Well, I think that's why I think that the indie world is better, because we're not being watered down by the feelings of a big company or a TV studio or something like that. It's the old story about the early stuff by great novelists and musicians and stuff. They're generally better, aren't they? But until they get 45 people in the mix supporting them and prodding them and asking them, and I think the thing is it's such a distilled down to the actions of one or two, maybe three people these days, comics, isn't it? That it's such a beautiful little pure art form. I think I'm glad it's like that. When I say I don't care when I go to Bridlington, we did okay, and I don't really, but I just don't care whether I sell anything. When I'm working for Nobra, it's different. I'll stand at the table and sell their books because I'm getting paid to do it and everything. But when I'm doing my own, I'm not fussed.
But also, like, there are a lot of creators for which, if you're traveling, the financial thing has to be.
I'll never make my money back. I'll never make my money back on any of the comics I've made.
Yeah.
When you factor in paying the artist, printing the book, traveling to conventions, everything, I'll never make my money back.
The biggest hit, and I think we discussed this in recent years for me, was the last Thought Bubble we did. That was just like that. I didn't make anything in comparison to what I outlaid, but I didn't expect to go out there thinking, "Oh, I'm gonna fucking be rolling in it." But you know what I mean? It was like, man, I fucking hardly sold anything there. But I had a great fucking time. I went more for
that was the
kind of
point.
social aspect.
Well, I think the Thought Bubble's become that as a social event, isn't it now? More than we know we're not going to sell loads when we go there. I think
This would just turn up for a pub somewhere and then swap comics.
And do what Falpy did. Yeah, he just turned up for the pub, didn't he?
Yeah. I think in terms like if we go back to like the root of the question, like the finances. I mean, us on this show, we're not looking at it like, well, we're going to make lots of money from this, And most of the time, it's like it's nice if we can cover the printing or something like that. That's nice.
Yeah.
Especially like, I mean, Tony, you've got the outlay to the artists as well. But for instance, someone like me and Dan, if we can cover the printing, we've essentially covered the book, haven't we, Dan? That's If
the thing for me, if you take Hidden Lives, probably all in all cost me $1,000 to make.
Okay.
Okay. So I've sold what, about 400, 500 of them now. When you factor in the fact that I've had to print them as well, and I've had to take them places to sell them, and I've had to post them to people.
Yeah, it doesn't.
It doesn't. It just.
You're not going to be coining it in.
It'll never happen, man.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think we always go back to like it's being creatively fulfilled.
Yeah, exactly. That's why I do it.
Having a way of not sort of it's seeing how you evolve or like measuring your success. I think is measuring how you view yourself as a creator. I think that is the successful bit. If you can look back on your work and just be like, I'm pleased with that. That's not to say you think your work. You may not think that your work. You may see we always see the things that we could have done better, but we're all aiming to do stuff we're proud of. Every one of us, everyone, whether you're an artist, whether you're a writer, whether you're a one-man band, whether you're whatever it is.
I think the good people are, Vince.
Yeah. Oh yeah, totally. And I'm talking to those people. I only talk to good people. You know that, Tony. You know. The people that are in it to make a name, you can shout a name loud, and it will have an echo, but an echo dies away. It's when you get other people to repeat that name, and you don't need to say it loud. If we read a comic and go that creator, they're great, they're awesome. Let's check out their next book. A reputation grows. A loud noise dies away quickly. But something is like something that lives with you, and that's the reputation, your work. Just be good people. I think that's what I'm trying to say. Just be good people. Make the
profit.
work. Yeah,
profit means nothing to me.
Profit means nothing. I mean, people don't have any money these days anyway. You know, like the world's a hard enough place.
What I was saying about like the kind of, I've got no problem with people making money from comics and stuff, but just the fact that the idea of because your next comics made more than one before. Does that make it better? And I would say no.
No, not at all. No, not at all. And we all know the people who just hard sell stuff, and it's just painful for me. You know, especially if the quality's not there.
Man, I fucking find that really hard for me personally as like an artist and creator. The idea of doing that is just fucking sacrosanct. I couldn't fucking do it, man. It's just I would not be able to do it.
Yeah, and I think we all know when comics come from a good place.
Yeah, exactly.
I hope so, yeah,
exactly.
I think on the flip of that, I said also like what would you take as a sign to like right? I've done this now. Knock this on the head.
How did you word that, mate? I've got that written down somewhere. I thought that was a really good question.
I think if you're doing it for long enough and you don't care about it. If and like sometimes that we've all done projects. There's probably comics projects, or there's probably just your day-to-day life. We just like, I don't care about any of this. But for a medium where we're choosing, a lot of the people listening to this show are getting involved. We're choosing to do this. Usually, it's not our full-time job. We're spending time on it. You're spending energy. You're pouring your heart and soul into it. If you have, and there's probably a project that people have worked on. It's like, I didn't put everything into that like I should have. If you've done 5 projects where you're not caring about what you're doing, maybe you shouldn't be doing it. Find something you love.
Yeah. I think the way you put it down was interesting. You said, what would you take as a clear sign to stop creating? And you're right, Vince. I think if your heart isn't in it, stop it.
Yeah. Stop it.
And if you're doing it for the wrong reason, stop it.
Yeah.
If you're doing it because you just want a Netflix deal, fuck off, honestly.
Yeah.
I think that ship sailed.
If it's starting to make you feel bad, especially like your mental health and stuff, if you're constantly just beating yourself up because you just take a break. You don't have like if you're going, my comics will never be good enough. Everything I'm doing shit. Take a break from it. Find something else. There are
some people out there who just are looking to be famous.
Yeah.
Well, there's people out there who just want to be famous. They want to be internet famous for it. That's the wrong reason as well.
Yeah, I can't disagree.
Yeah.
If it got to the point where I just wasn't inspired to do it, then I would have a little break.
Yeah.
I'm not a great believer in writer's block. I just think you can work through that. But I think if you're just not inspired to do it, then wait until inspiration hits. We're not fucking working to a deadline here, are we?
Although to all those people working to deadlines, we love you. Keep up the good work.
I mean, sure, there's got to be things you've done in life, activities or hobbies or something, and then you've gone to a point where it's like, man, I'm not enjoying this anymore, or I'm not getting anything out of this anymore. Just
it's me, not you.
Call it a day.
Yeah.
There's one from Simon. What would you make for the Guardian's 4-page comic competition? I've got an answer to this one.
I read this.
This is a hand grenade,
and I have no context to it. So
I've got an answer to that. What would you make? I'd make fuck all. I hate the Guardian. I wouldn't lower myself to those Twitter cucks. Is the phrase that I would use. Them or the Daily Mail, they can both fucking jump in the water.
Dan?
I don't know.
There we go. That's that question done.
I know. Near me, there's a pond, and there's a little society that's all about meeting up and clearing the pond for rubbish and stuff, and make sure the welfare of the ducks and stuff. I'd probably make a comic about that. I reckon that'd go down a storm.
I bet they're right goers, aren't they? It's right.
I wouldn't hazard to guess. There you go.
If anyone, just on the off chance, if anyone sees at Messy Comics, is worried about them, they're trapped in a dark hole and they can't get out, and they need some advice. There is an
what
extra
else
note.
Did he say? What else did he say? Yeah.
It's not a bumhole, Tony. Just to be
That's
just to be
a
clear.
lie. Clearly, it is.
Just to be clear.
We're talking a metaphorical hole or an actual hole, I guess.
Oh God, we're going down that route, are we?
Yeah.
God, this question
relate to the previous question about.
There's quite an interesting one from someone saying if you could make an official biography of anyone, who would it pick? Who's that from, B? That's Lodology, isn't it?
Yeah,
I believe it was. Yeah.
That's quite a good one. I mean, I thought a bit about this. You make an official biography. Official, it's different, isn't it, when it's official?
Yeah,
it's making
I had one fucking earlier.
There's a lot of people who've had biographies written about them, whether it be online or, and I've read quite a few recently of them. But the one dude I think is missing, and I think it's because he very wisely keeps out of the light, keeps out of the modern media light, but deserves a lot of credit, is Doug Munch. And I think I'd like to write a book on him. I'd like to meet him and write a book on him. That's what I'd do. Yeah, I think he deserves it.
I thought about this in terms of something that would be like just visually probably hugely pleasing. Just get some artists in to go really fucking hog wild on it. I'd do a biography of Tom Savini.
Oh, that'd be a nice one, yeah. Because he fucking served in Vietnam.
Yeah.
He's
from
that.
And he's got a gun for a knob.
Dawn of the Dead to Sex Machine and beyond. Yeah. I mean, I've watched documentaries on him, and he's just the nicest guy.
He seems like a real dude.
Yeah, he's got to be getting on a bit now, hasn't he?
Must be.
Yeah. Yeah. But yeah, I just love Tom Savini. I think I think the interesting people are the people with stories, aren't they?
I bet you the one I've got has already been done.
Go on, then. What's one you got?
Let's just type it in, see if it's been done.
No, tell us, Dan, first.
Okay, it's the founder of Kyokushinkai Karate called Masomya, who's like a Korean guy who kind of learned karate and then developed this style which has gone around the world now. But the amount of fucking hardships and shit that guy went through is just
This
unreal.
was not what I thought you were going to say.
No, I don't know. I was going to say Julie Strain or something.
And I'd make it a kind of a manga, like get a manga artist to
do it as a comic art. Do it as a comic.
Yeah,
That'd be nice.
Yeah, but so when there's the fight scenes and stuff, the manga artist obviously will absolutely fucking destroy it on that element of it, and then do that. I'm sure there's plenty of films about him and stuff. I imagine there must be.
I'd like to do a comic on Elron Cupboard. He's my favourite person. That's my WhatsApp name, Elron Cupboard.
Oh God.
See, messing out comic.
Dan's just going down
internet
rabbit hole.
Of course there is.
Oh, is there?
I think so. Yeah, looks like it.
What's it called?
I could see there's a shots of the panels.
Okay.
So,
should we do another one?
Yes.
Yeah, definitely.
Let's have a look here.
What's Dave Robertson's one? That made me laugh.
Well, I'll tell you what. He said, which comic do you absolutely unequivocally hate to bits, like completely despise? I'm not going to answer this.
We've got something that's coming that you don't like in a minute.
Yeah.
I'm going to add my one in now,
yeah,
as opposed to the finger clicking one, because the finger clicking is a bit harsh for the person I'm going to bring up, and it's Rob Liefeld. And the comics by Rob Liefeld. I don't fucking get it. I feel like I'm in a fucking loony bin taking crazy pills. Because I follow him on Twitter, and it's a kind of like a bit of a hate follow, because like he posts up pages and stuff he's done. I was like, man, you was doing the same fucking thing like 15 years ago. You're putting even less effort into it now. And like he obviously drops a few quid on the colorist, because he just does like characters fighting in a void and gets the colorist to kind of like color in a background that he's made no marks on whatsoever. And just it's like, man, it's
that one you
frustrating.
sent through this week was like that, wasn't it? Was it
terrible.
a Shield or something? Yeah.
Yeah, and it's like, how are you getting all these fucking gigs when, like, I know 1,000,001 people that are just fucking smoke you art-wise, but yeah, it just, the man's so lazy. And the way
There's collectors out there, man. People will buy his stuff.
yeah,
you know,
he kind of
nostalgia
positions
value of it.
himself as like this kind of like statesman of comics, and he can say what is and what isn't great, whatever. And it's like, man, this is fucking unearned in my eyes.
I can't remember he put some sketch prices out, didn't he?
Yeah, and it's
one
like
of the cons.
Little signature of his, like, you got to pay like $50 or something.
Oh god, yeah, that's right. Yeah, I've got a comic,
Go for it.
Crock and Roll, by Hamish Steele and George Williams. I actually think it takes the medium back fucking 400 years, and if you read it, it makes you more stupid.
I've never heard of that, and I'm fucking.
You're lucky, man.
Hopefully that'll be the last I hear of it.
Yeah, I'll send you a review I found online.
I'm not adding any more fuel to this fire because I want to love.
You've got some.
I want
You've
to
got
love
some
comics.
shade to throw in a minute.
Don't get me started. Anyway,
And yeah, I don't know, man. I just fucking see that guy's posts, and I send pictures through to you, and I just don't fucking get this. Why people are, flocking to this.
Yeah.
Let's lift this up with James Gibbs. James Gibbs
I've not seen this.
underscore
I spoke
art.
to Gibster for ages.
He's a dude.
He sent us a couple. How would you? He was our old con buddy back in the day as well.
Yeah.
How would you bring back romance comics to prominence? I feel you three middle-aged white guys have the diversity to tackle this. And you're absolutely right. Romance comics. I think
bring back the sex bit of it. Eros comics, bring it back. That could be romance.
Look. When romance comics were at their height, it was in the 50s. There was no bloody sex on the page.
Tell you what, I think the romance comics, in as much as as a genre, I think they do all right on webtoons and stuff like that.
Yeah,
I think they do all right.
Manga does a lot of romance. Doesn't it?
Yeah.
It's like everything. It's absolutely high drama.
I've written a romance comic.
There's a lot to.
Have you, T?
Well, Peggy in the Hall Chronicles.
Of course, yeah, that's fucking tragic.
There's a lot to be said for like a long sort of slow burn romantic angle in an ongoing comic as well. That works.
A lot of the X-Men's about that. You know, I'm not going to ruin the last panel of the recent Superman, but action comics, but that's romantic, man.
Yeah,
Batman and Catwoman. You know, this sort of thing. What's going on?
Yeah, readers sort of like some blokes, I think, more than kind of the lady or balk at kind of romance stuff. But it's fucking throughout all the stuff we've kind of.
I mean, the X-Men's basically a soap opera, isn't it? Yeah.
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 Peter Parker, Mary Jane. He's fucking. The whole thing of that is more of a teenage drama about who's
Gwen or Mary Jane, guys.
Gwen or Mary Jane. Yeah.
Who'd you go with, Gwen or Mary Jane? Who are you going to go
with?
Well,
Mary Jane was the only. When I came into comics, it was Mary Jane. There was no Gwen because she had been spoilers by then.
Yeah. Well, what about you, Dan?
It's a hard one because kind of even though
keep that to yourself.
Gwen passed away, like it didn't end up.
Oh God, Dan, that's disgusting.
You don't have to have sex with her when she's dead.
Yeah, Dan,
you can if you want.
It's not all wine and roses with Mary Jane, is it?
No, she's difficult. I'd probably do Mary Jane though. Do you know what I mean?
Fair enough.
A John Romita drawn one as well.
We're getting dark again.
Imagine this is silly. She'll never leave Peter.
Never. She almost did in one comic I remember reading. Doing with that, some cad tried to kind of seduce her.
Cad, that'll be you, Dan, with your monocle, turning up with your walking stick. And
Mary Jane, yes. Your husband's never around.
Nice Englishman. Come to England with me.
Yeah.
He's a knob.
He's a knob. Leave him. He's got spider powers. It doesn't matter. Look at my knob.
Oh my God. Anyway, oh God.
One from Dave Kennedy. How do you guys set guidelines for yourselves?
Is it guidelines?
I think it's guidelines or deadlines. Is it deadlines?
Deadlines.
Right.
Deadlines. Yeah.
Deadlines. Okay. How do you set deadlines? Well, I do set them actually.
Yeah.
And then nobody takes any notice of them. That's how it works.
You just have to be. You got to set them and be brutal with them. Though it's difficult, like when you're sort of working on your own as well, and you've got no. I think it's easier with deadlines if you have a certain event or something coming up that you want the book for, which is why Thought Bubble, like everyone goes into a rush and like gets loads of stuff ready for Thought Bubble, and they have to set their deadlines because the printers need it by a certain time. A printer deadline is always one of the big things. It's what we did when we did the Awesome Comics 4-issue series.
That was brutal, man.
Yeah, we want to make this deadline by this particular time in order to get it for this show, then this show, because we launched every issue at a different show, didn't we? Yeah. So it was like, right, we need to get it all ready for in each one of us. You know, everyone involved.
That was a fucking hard year for me. I put out 2 fucking issues of Vanguard and then 40 pages in that. I remember that year was work.
Yeah.
Worth it though.
Yeah.
When I set deadlines, I do. So I'll say, can we have these by the end of April? And then at the start of April, I'll say, don't forget, guys. You know, end of this month is the deadline. How's everyone doing? I'll do that. And then usually I get some messages, 2 weeks after that saying I might be a tiny bit late. I say, okay. And in my head, I'll know that we won't be going to print till the end of May because I've done a, what do you call it, a Scotty on it, where I've exaggerated the deadline.
Yeah.
So that's the way I do it. I play with people's minds and their emotions.
Yeah. I think you got to have, say, getting fit, goal orientated. You got to have this is what I've got to be done by this time and stick to it as much as possible. Because if you just I don't want to get it done, I'll watch this fucking TV show, I'll browse social media, and then before you know it, hours are flicking by, days are flicking by, weeks are flicking by, and you've not done anything.
I think personally as well, it's better if you're not the only person in the ship.
Without doubt.
Whether it be, you could be doing the whole comic yourself, but other people have like whether it be printers or other people working on it or something. Because even if you post online, this is going to release at this time, you'll just put it off. Off. It's like doing the washing up.
It weighs heavily on my mind.
I don't want to be that dude, but like when we was doing your comic tea, I was like, I'm not going to be the one that lets the team down. I'm going to make sure my one's on time. I don't want to fuck everyone else over. And I'm not casting aspersions on anyone who was late or whatever, but my work ethic will not allow me to do that. I can't do it. I lose sleep over it.
If it's for someone else, I find that I have to do it straight away as well.
Yeah, I've got to get it done.
Yeah,
that's the priority.
And that's a lie because I've been a bit late with the script to 4P recently. So, but I do find it does weigh on me. I find that I feel so much better if I just get on with it as well.
Yeah.
Nothing worse than just thinking, I really got to do that. I really got to do that. It just makes me feel guilty.
So often you do that thing where you put stuff off, and the moment you address it, all that fucking just goes. All that anxiety and kind of
does. Yeah, you've achieved something then, haven't you? Definitely.
Yeah.
I don't want to kind of look back at my life as a creator and think, man, I could have done so much more if I hadn't just stopped fucking around and got creating. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. I don't know how these people manage to watch a whole Netflix series in one night and things. I don't know how they do it.
Yeah, I don't.
Yeah.
Don't know.
I work a 12-hour day and then I do comics in the evening, and I don't know how people find the time. Productivity wise,
part of my job, I can kind of like have a kind of, because I'm setting stuff or designing stuff, I can have something going on, but most of the time I'm not watching, I'm listening to it. So I don't put anything that I need to kind of pay attention to.
Yeah, most of my stuff is writing stuff and analysing stuff and data and things. I can't have anything on.
Do that.
Sometimes I even have to have like headphones on with noise cancelling on.
I can just focus in.
Yeah.
Fair play. Yeah.
I put it on another Slack group. The EOC I put up. Where do people find time to watch the whole of Sandman? It came out like 12 hours ago, and someone said, "Oh, I have 3 screens at work, 2 that I work on, and the other one is I have Netflix on." And I'm like, "And you get paid?"
Yeah. See, like I always say, if I want to watch something and invest myself in it and say, right, this is a piece of art I'm going to consume and take in for everything that it's worth, I don't want to watch it on flicking my eyes over every couple of seconds. I can do that with a fucking Jean-Claude Van Damme film that I've seen 100 times. That's no problem.
Yeah,
but when it's kind of like...
I missed that. I've got to go back. I've got to rewind that. Yeah, it's like that, isn't it? Yeah.
What did he say? Did he say, fuck you? Yeah, he did.
Oh, poop.
So, okay. Fair enough. Yeah. There you go.
And we have a big question that we've discussed prior to the show. We're going to give an answer
Fuck
to.
Me. You should have seen it.
Ranted. So the question is, what can you snap out of existence like it never happened? Vincenzo?
I may have had a moment before we started recording
I wish we'd have kept that. Did you record that? Because you could just hard cut that in now.
No, you weren't recording
it was recording.
There you go.
The audio was recording. I'm not going to put it in because I don't want to put that energy out there. I've expelled that energy. Thank you to Eamon from the Mega City Book Club for posing this. And this is just my personal opinion.
No, it's not. It's all of our opinion. Well, it's mine and yours because Dan hasn't seen it.
But Thor: Love and Thunder can go fuck itself.
Yeah.
And although that's a harsh judgment because I only got 15 minutes in before I got so angry.
I've seen the whole thing and I agree. And then I went to re-watch it and I stopped it after 15 minutes.
Because I started off by saying, do you think Shang-Chi is the worst?
Yeah, my argument is it's the
translation?
worst. It's the worst translation from comic to movie because it's nothing fucking like it.
No,
just
it's only in name only, isn't it?
Martial arts theme and turned it into a fucking Pokemon movie. But Love and Thunder is, to me, the worst film they've made. That makes sense.
Yeah.
It's
pretty fucking bad.
If you found something if you enjoyed it, that's fair enough. This is, as we always say, personal opinion.
If you enjoyed it, then I hope you like your jelly for tea.
When is it Friday? Is it apple pie night? But I think, and I was really surprised at this. Like when we stopped it, Jo was sort of taken aback. She said, "I've never seen you this irate about something." But it wasn't one of those. This isn't my Thor, because that I don't really have. I'm not that invested. It wasn't those things like that. And I think for me, I will give a shout out. Christian Bale smashes it. I only saw him for 5 minutes, but he's in a different movie. He did well, that boy.
There's about 4 different movies going on in that film.
Yeah.
You were kind of questioning the fact that it kind of shits on itself and the MCU in general.
But it shits on the fact that she's got fucking cancer in
and
it.
I think if I'm gonna look inwards, that was the moment. I don't know if anyone out there has. I've had family members that have or are having experience with cancer and things like that.
I've lost fucking 2 members of my family to cancer.
And for me, it's not something. When I saw the scene, I'm actually getting quite emotional about it.
There's got to be some kind of reference, surely.
There's not to say. When you're talking about cancer and stuff, there can't be levity to the tales because levity is
done in the right way. Done in the right way.
Done in the right way, and we will watch them and very heartfelt. But that for me, it was almost disrespectful. I can't. There's no other word for me to say it, and I was like, "Fuck this film," because of the.
I've got no frame of reference. What you're referring to here is just the fact that Jane
Foster.
Sorry.
Yeah, spoilers.
Got that joke into my head before.
Yeah,
well, that's a bad joke that's made in it.
Spoilers for this film. I think a lot of people might obviously know that storyline is part of it, and certainly in the comics, it was treated with seriousness, wasn't it? I believe it was deadly serious because Jason Aaron didn't fuck. It was Jason Aaron who wrote that, wasn't it?
It was,
yeah. Doesn't fuck about. It's a powerful story. It is not someone sitting there getting chemo treatment. And basically acting like they're annoyed that they have to sit there and being like, "Oh, it's only stage 4." I was.
Yes.
Yeah.
Anyway.
And I gave it another couple minutes and then I switched it off. But I think that is the root cause of. I knew.
Not as good as the comics.
Yeah. Read the Jason Aaron Lady Thor comics. Just fucking if you want that story, read it there because you're not going to get it properly in this film.
Just go back and read Kirby Thor comics.
Yeah,
and realise the fucking grandeur of that character. How beautiful it can be.
They kind of shit the bed, didn't he?
It's almost like that movie they made, Legend, about the Kree twins, which I describe as a carry-on film. Almost like they've turned Thor into a carry-on film.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes.
And I understand like the humour part of it. Lots of people, that's why a lot of people went and watch it because they like Ragnarok, and there was obviously humour in that. But it was just, not for me, And But
That
I don't besmirch anyone for liking it. If they liked it, then fair enough. But
that goes back to
that's
that
my
question we
reason.
said earlier about like the benchmarks of like as a creator that Rakiti, whatever, I can't remember the chap's name. It's like if he's kind of been allowed unrestrained creativity and to do whatever he does, and then like he's done that, it's like fucking hell, man. Like, yeah, you really misjudged yourself there.
Yeah, it's very misjudged, totally.
Yeah.
What other questions we got, V?
Right, now we have, once again, Ledologist. Any updated recommendations for digital or drawing art devices? Is bigger better?
Well, there you go.
Or because you get some of the same detail by just pinching and zooming in. Ooh. I will say, for me, when I chose to get my iPad, I went for the biggest iPad I could. I'm not saying it's not like a fucking A4 sheet. No, A1 sheet. But purely because it's ingrained in me just having the A4 pad on my lap ever since I was a kid, so I'm just used to that. I know the zooming in is a wonderful tool that you can get details in, and like you can do all of this stuff and the undo. That's great, but for me, I know you can get smaller iPads, and certainly people work amazing stuff with them. They work with the Wacom tablets. They do amazing stuff. I think, as always, it's finding what's best for you, knowing the best device for you, and ask around, get recommendations, whether it be from the programs. Some people are Procreate, some people are Clip Studio, things like that. There are the tools, whether it be the Apple Pen or whatever. It's not just Apple, actually, just whatever tablet you're using. When I was looking into it, when I thought, I think I'm going to try this, which I did for a long time, because these things, as we all know, any bit of equipment is an outlay. It's an expensive outlay. And if you're in this community, if you're part of this community, or if you've just got friends who are like part of a creative community, the resources there just to ask. And certainly I asked several different people, and I had several different, there was little bits of information. I pieced that together and figured out what I want. What was I going to get most from it? For instance, like you could say to someone, why should I get the iPad? And they'll be like, well, you can get this app, or you can do this or that or the other. That was white noise to me, because I just thought, I only want the drawing apps. That's all I'm going to use it for. I'm not going to use it for social media. I'm not going to use it for watching films. I'm not going to even use it for... I have used it for reading comics, but I'm not going to use it for like reading books. My iPad is literally like a pad for drawing, which I need to use more. I've really fallen.
I'm thinking of getting one of those digital writing pads. You know, the ones where you can write on with a pen, and then you tap it and it becomes type. And you can print. You can email it to yourself and print it out. I don't know. I want to go and like road test one, because they'd be super useful for me.
Because you have loads of notebooks, don't you?
Mate, I've got 2 crates of notebooks in the garage. Yeah. I constantly write stuff down, because I'd like to write in cafes and stuff like that, or from on the train and stuff. I'm not always I don't enjoy the process of typing stuff. I'd rather sort of scribble it down and make notes in the margins and this sort of thing. And I think having the ability to tap it and then it becomes type. I must see if there's an iPad version of that and stuff. Because there's a couple of like tablets that are just for that have come out that I'm having a little research on.
It's definitely I don't know about you, like we've talked like sometimes when we're on the go and we're using like the Notepad app or whatever on your phone when you have an idea or something like that, if you're just walking, you have to activate another bit of your brain, don't you? Because when I'm doing stuff like that, to begin with, I'm thinking about what I'm doing. If I had a pen and a bit of paper, I wouldn't think about it. I'd just scribble down ideas. Yeah, but I'm kind of looking at the keypad and trying to type it with my large sausage-like fingers, and typing things like wrong, and then maybe, oh no, I need to go back. And there's less of that with a pad and a pen, isn't there?
And I'm hoping it has a facility where you can say stuff to it and it types it out as well.
Yeah,
that would be good, because it's got to be out there, isn't it?
Speech to text.
Yeah.
I've tried that. It's more fucking around going back and editing what it's not caught properly. You know what I mean?
Right. I use it for capturing like sentences and ideas I want for writing or for work or stuff like that. I use it for that, especially if I'm driving, because I can say the SIRI word, can't I? And then you can say stuff into it.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
There's loads of tools. There's so many different tools now for everything, though, isn't there? I think. So in terms of updated recommendations, I don't have my ear to the ground in terms of the latest technology and loads of apps, but certainly there's an awful lot of amazing
You've
artists.
played with a few, D, haven't you? You've had a few different ones sent to you and stuff. Is that right?
What, the art ones?
Yeah.
Yeah, I've not got my tablet next to me, but there's a 3D one I use for posing characters in. It's great for getting certain angles and characters. The Handy app is absolutely fantastic. There's Shape something which you can like make 3D objects in and pose them, move into certain position and draw from. There's like an absolute wealth of stuff out there. There was one today that in that aspiring comic artists group where there was a guy developing it where you could drop in object files and make them look like drawings like from a manga. So there's so much stuff. I mean, I draw with Procreate on the iPad, and that's an absolutely solid tool.
It seems to be the big one, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's concerning that essentially what's the other art studio one that everyone was using to use manga and stuff? They've changed their thing from like
Clip Studio.
Clip Studio. It was like a one-off fee, but now they're doing like a subscription service.
Yeah, subscription service. Yeah.
And I've got a feeling Procreate's going to go that way.
I was meant to bloody cancel that recently because I got both apps.
Yeah.
I bought both apps when I got my iPad, and I just found that Procreate was just better for me. You know, and I fucking forgot to cancel that. I've just been I just had the subscription for another year, so I'll keep Clip Studio for another year. But I was like, oh bugger, it was like £20 or something like that.
It's not too bad.
It's not too bad, is it? That's quite reasonable, actually.
Yeah, it's not too bad.
Because I use Photoshop all the time, and the Photoshop app, the last time I used it, which was months ago, was terrible.
Right.
Yeah.
It's
and a lot of these sort of digital art apps, they have a lot of these filters and stuff like that in Photoshop. Like with Procreate, you create in the layers, you export it as a PSD, and you can take it into Photoshop, and it's got all the layers there, and it's lovely. That's how I use.
It does take a bit of prattling around. Like my work method is save it out as the file, send it to like Dropbox or a Google Drive, and then download it onto the machine you're going to do it on.
Yeah.
But you can't like say if that machine was the one the iPad's on, you can pop it straight in and transfer it that way. So there's loads of ways of doing stuff.
Yeah.
Just find the one that works for you.
Exactly. Write it into a Word document.
Yeah, I've got a Google document with all my Word stuff. You know, when you do a story.
Yeah. So many Google Docs just full of absolute nonsense and drivel.
I do that mental thing when you're walking along, listening to music, and an idea for the story pops in the head, and stop immediately. And then open the Google document.
Why do you stop?
I can't. If that moment, if it's
gone,
halfway,
isn't it? It's like a dream. It's lost.
Yeah. You don't cross the road while you're doing that, Dan.
I've always said, man, don't rely on your memory sorting out what's a good idea and bad.
Can't remind my memory at all.
Yeah. Here's another great question from Aaron Rackley. If you could pick a genre for one of the others to take a crack at, which genre would it be?
Dan. Nazi exploitation.
Oh, bro. Yeah.
God.
Let's give that a go.
Let's see.
It's a hard one for Tony because he's done a lot.
Vince, I'd ask you to do a book on the Marquis de Sade's fantasies.
All ages. It'd be the new Bunny versus Monkey. It'd be called Sard Bastards. Anyway, for Dan, I would pick. I would pick a sports.
Okay.
Like Billy's Boots.
Yeah. Or maybe I'll probably see something like NFL Super Pro or something when it comes to Dan. But then again, he'd probably just turn it into rollerball. Hands up, who wants to see Dan do a rollerball adaptation?
Yeah, honestly.
Man, rollerball, I think that's ripe for.
Yeah,
I think so too.
And Tony, in terms of what genre would I pick for Tony? Well, I mean,
is it an autobio sexy comic?
He'll take an. Dan had sports. You can have music.
Bloody hell!
Who would I do a bio of? Who would be the person?
Oh, I do you know what? Frank Zappa.
Twisted Sister.
Someone like Frank Zappa.
I've read a load of bios of him. I read his autobiography, actually, Zappa. I'm a bit of a Zappa fan.
Yeah. Are you talking about Dee Snider from Twisted Sister?
Yeah, that'd be a good comic, wouldn't it?
Yeah, especially that
the new rock and roll comics.
That moment when he was dragged into court to talk about music. Do you remember that?
Yeah, I do vaguely. Yeah,
And they were like,
was that the Tipper Gore thing, wasn't it?
Yeah, he was like, oh yes, you're just unwashed. You're trying to ruin our children. And then he did something they didn't expect and actually have an argument back that was very well thought out.
He was clearly much more off the meds then, because I saw him recently in Sharknado 4 and he wasn't quite as good.
Yeah.
For your comic, T, what I'd get you to probably do is like a period comic set in a specific period.
Yeah.
No,
in time.
Tony, not that kind.
No, but like you could have it set in. Not that
I tell you what though, it would be when it comes out on a monthly schedule.
Yeah.
Yeah, it gets angry. What?
Like maybe have it set like in 1970s America.
Oh, I'd love that, man. Yeah, I would love that.
Story, maybe like a story. A couple of the GIs come back from World War II. You know the beginning of like the Hell's Angels. All these soldiers came back and then they bought the old motorcycles and started fucking around and getting up to shit.
Yeah.
Something
That's
that'd be awesome. Vince, what'd go for you, man? That's a tough one. Not to stroke you guys' egos, but I don't think there's much I could throw at that you wouldn't fucking
kind of it.
do well at.
Oh,
so,
thank you. What would you like to see me do, Dan? Oh,
The crab, the wheelbarrow. What?
Yeah. I think you could do a drama romance. I think there's something to kind of.
You're an old romantic, aren't you?
I am
into character.
I would love to do like a rom-com or something. I don't know why.
I think you could do it. No
It's-
worries.
It's a very.
I'd like you to do it, but when it gets to the sexy time, it would be like proper 1960s sitcom with loads of
Yeah.
Why does it need to be sexy time, Tony?
It's an integral part of romance. The which says, oh, Vince, why don't you come into the boudoir and you're boing.
Yeah. Swanee whistles, kettles boiling, trains going in and out tunnels.
Oh, God.
That bit at the end of, is it the 40-year-old virgin where they just had sex and he's like, it suddenly turns into that musical number.
Yeah. The dawning of the age of Aquarius. It's like so good. And let's finish off with Dave Kennedy once again, who said, should horses be in comics?
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, he said no. They should all get in.
Horse racist.
Yeah.
They should get in the sea. Stupid, knock-kneed, long-faced idiots. So I feel it was less a question, and Dave just needed to get something off his chest.
Yeah.
He's doing a message to the writer. He's working with.
So we're on a panel of a dozen samurai warriors on horseback running through the surf.
That's easy.
Like,
I could write that in 2 seconds. He's pissed.
And so another comic was given birth to. Oh dear! But thank you to everyone for your questions. This week.
Yeah,
God,
questions.
yeah,
That's
loads
it's
of
nice.
Good fun. Yeah. We talk nonsense. I almost got emotional. That was yeah.
The once a year.
I thought about you in the
emotion.
bedroom a lot.
Yeah. There was a lot of bedroom talk.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bedroom eyes.
Man, not to peer behind the curtain too much, but you went off on Thor whenever you weren't recording.
Earlier, that was you got quite excited. Red in the face.
Not a happy bunny.
Yeah.
No, I was only
Right,
red in the
though, it's
I was only red in the face because it's quite humid in this room at the moment, and I've got a fan on. I don't know if anyone can hear it, but
Boing.
more. Boo! Anyway, oh God!
Here comes the train again, going in the tunnel. Choo choo.
Train's almost at the station.
I miss Will Hay, don't you? I was talking to the boys about Will Hay the other day. What a fan of his I was.
What? I gave my dad a box set of Will Hay films.
I've got that box set. It's good.
It's good
Oh,
film.
Mr. Porter's in that.
Yeah. Who are we talking about? Get educated, kids. Right then, after all that fun, do we have any shout-outs this week, gents?
Yeah, I got a few. So Rachael Ball, our buddy Rachael Ball, is running a course through October and November at the Cartoon Museum. It's called Create a Compelling Comic. It's an adult course, and I texted you guys, and I got a little bit of pride about it because the characters that she's using to advertise the course are ones that she and I have worked on. I'm quite proud of them. She's just mentioned them on Twitter recently, which on social media. Nice, it was very nice of her. Go to cartoonmuseum.org/events and you can find it. And it's going to be good if she's running it because she knows what she's talking about. I don't want to call her a veteran, but she was in Deadline magazine.
Yeah,
in the 90s. One of our favourites, an old favourite actually, is Nottingham Comic Con, and that's fast approaching. That's coming up on the 29th of October at the Nottingham Conference Centre, Burton Street. Guests so far announced are Roger Langridge, Sally Jane Thompson, Staz Johnson. There's more and more coming. You can find the link by going to @NottinghamComic on Twitter, and you can follow the Eventbrite link to book your tickets, and I highly advise you to. There's a drink and draw this Friday, 16th of September, 7:30 to 10 p.m. Everyone is welcome. That's genuinely, we mean that genuinely.
Mm-hmm.
Don't worry, you don't have to be part of any kind of club. Just come along. And we'd be lovely to see you. And you can either say something or not say anything, or you can have your camera on or you can have it off. And it's just a friendly chat. And if you want some advice on art or just want to come and see art or listen to people talk comics, then that's the place to be. Look at our social medias and you'll find the link. Tom Curry's running it, so speak to him at this Chucklehead on Twitter. And if you reach out to him, he'll send you the link, or we'll be posting it in the Slack, and we'll be posting it in the Facebook group, etc., etc. DUI the comic is still issue 2 is still available. Have a listen to me and Eamon and talk to Damon on the Omen to That podcast that came out last week. I swear a bit, and Eamon tries to get me to mention pegging, and he manages it. But
you've gone into reprints, hasn't it?
Yes, so reprints, it's now been reprinted. So there's a second print of it now available, which is it's going good guns. But I think you should, because I'm not sure how many he's done, but I don't suspect they'll last that long. So go to duicomic.bigcartel.com and you'll be able to get your copy. Also on there is the digital copies as well of both issues. So the first issue is available only as digital at the moment.
Oh, cool.
You get a copy of that.
You'll see a video on Comic House, the first.
Yeah, you can. And don't forget £3 from each issue, and all the profits from the digital copy, the £3 for that, go to Cancer Research UK. So that's the charity of our choice this year, or Eamon's choice. So he's worked hard on that, and everyone's done it for free. We're going to do that. There you go. There,
I've got a couple of ideas for DUI 3. So,
okay.
I've given you a sneak peek on one, but I've got one. So yes, Eamon, I'll be in touch near the time. My shout out from Hellbound Media comes Faith Healers, Nephilim vs. Demons graphic novel. Dark urban fantasy graphic novel where a secret group of half-angel Nephilim work to protect their kind from demonic threats. Now on Kickstarter. Their logo is fucking great, Hellbound Media.
Yeah, they're good, aren't they?
Yeah. These guys, as they claim, they've done 16 Kickstarter campaigns, funded and delivered since 2015. So when you back a Hellbound Media comic, you'll get your Hellbound Media comic.
Yeah, I can speak about the last one. I got it within like a week of closing.
There you go. Yeah. And there's absolutely like a raft of extras and stuff they do on their Kickstarter there. So I'd go check that out. They could do with a bit of a boost. I would have thought they'd have smashed it by now. It has only just started, so there you go. Go check that out. Faith Healers.
And one more, if you're in the area of Bath on Saturday 22nd of October, there's the BAM Comics Zine Fair, of which a couple of us will be at. 11 a.m. until 3 p.m. Free entry at the Comedia in Bath, as I said. So come along, pick up some cool like comics, zines, arts, craft, all kinds of things are going to be there. It's going to be a fun time, and probably a lot of nonsense will be spoken.
We're going to be there, aren't we?
Yeah, totally. We'll be.
That's where the party will be on the table. Yeah.
Party on top, regret at the bottom.
There's always a lot of regret in there.
Yeah. But from things that you won't regret, let's talk about some comics to recommend.
Oh.
Who would like to go first?
I got the two again.
Go on then, Tony.
Shall I bookend us?
Yeah.
High five over the top.
Eiffel Tower. Go on.
My first one is Nemisis the Warlock, books 1 to 4, an audio play, believe it or not. So slightly off the comic subject, but still an adaptation of a comic. Original story by Patrick Mills. Art by Kevin O'Neill on the original comic. Kevin O'Neill, Jesus Redondo and Brian Talbot. Patrick Warner plays Nemesis. Keith Allen plays Torquemada. There's a voice from the past, isn't there?
Yeah, I'd have to look up Patrick Warner.
Yeah, Roy McMillan is the narrator. Natalie Simpson plays the freedom fighter Purity Brown, a favourite of mine. This is the second wave of 2000 AD plays, and it's in company with Penguin and Audible. I pre-ordered mine, about a month ago now on Audible, and then when it got to the day earlier this week. It downloaded. I think it's about 6 hours. I did the whole 6 hours actually, and I absolutely fucking loved it. I really did. It's easily my favorite. I've listened to nearly all of them, I think, and it's easily my favorite of the lot. And it captures the mood, especially from those early Kevin O'Neill strips for me. There's something, I don't know what it is about when him and Phat get together. There's something dark, but something darkly humorous as well. Does that make sense? There's sort of something gothic and strange and very fucking disturbing, but it's done with that sort of necessary, almost satire. For those that don't know, our hero is Nemisis. He's a magical sword-carrying warlock. And honestly, one of the best designs in comics. If you haven't seen it, go look it up. He kind of looks like a walking humanoid dragon, I'm going to say. What do you guys think? It's a weird one, isn't it? I've never really tried to put into words what I think he looks like. But
it's like a dragon. It's like his head looks like an arrowhead. Just sort of like a living arrow. Kind of, and
like he's got sort of centaur's legs, almost like horse legs.
Backwards kind of legs.
Yeah, and in that sort of clever way, the villains are the humans, led by the alive, not alive, resurrected, sometimes zombie, sometimes there's a bit of a spoiler, something else happens to him. Fanatical fascist, Thomas Torquemada, who wants to exterminate all alien life in the war to make humans the one pure thing in the universe. It first premiered in Prog's 167 in July 1980. I remember buying it. And the book is very, very close to the comic and follows it all the way from the Terror Tube all the way through to the end of the Gothic Empire book. So it's the first 4 books. Gothic Empire book, I think, is the one that Brian Talbot drew. The Terror Tube is a great one to start with. It was almost like a short story, and it's about a trans-world, trans-dimensional tube highway, like a car highway, and like bumper to bumper with vehicles all the way, to the end of the horizon, and just full of these sort of scumbag human race people. But abroad in the tube is Nemisis in his craft, which is called the Blitz Spear, which looks like an extension of himself.
Yeah, it's great, that ship.
Yeah, the front.
It's alive, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a creature. And if you go right to the end of the audio page, you get the episode, you get the prog where they describe growing it and how he's, it becomes his ship sort of thing. And it's got that, it does it in chapters per prog almost. So I think you get like 50, 60 chapters, and it's done almost like a prog thing. And it feels, it's just, I don't know how to put in words, but it really feels like the comic on it as an audio play. It obviously doesn't have the benefit. It's a weird one, isn't it? So it's probably the weirdest comic to put into an audio play when you think about it, because
I can't even imagine it. Yeah,
it's so strange, isn't it? But it manages to make it. I finished listening to it on the way back from having breakfast with my son today, and I still had 5 minutes to finish it, and I sat in the car on the driveway listening to it. It's that good. We get Grobendonk, who's his sort of whose Nemesis is familiar. He was previous to that Great Uncle Bal's little creature that used to help him out. The Torquemada stuff is good, and Nemesis isn't always the main character in it. Sometimes he becomes more and more so, but occasionally it's actually Torquemada who's the central character in it. But it's really good. The only thing that I kind of feel a bit about it is Phat. Well, there's 2 things on this. So when you think about it, Nemisis the Warlock is part of this extended, what people now refer to as the Millsverse. So when you think about it, Invasion / Savage is joined up to the Roadbusters, is joined up to the ABC Warriors, is joined up to Nemesis. So you've got this huge, decades-long arc of characters that somehow link into it. I won't spoil about who Deadlock and Nemesis are in relation to each other, but there's an interesting link then. And the ABC Warriors appear in this as well.
I was saying, ABC Warriors pop up, don't they, in Nemesis?
Yeah, they do. Yeah, in the Gothic Empire, Rojaws and Hammerstein and more. Mechquakes, so well done in this. Yeah, just brilliantly done. I remember as a kid reading Mechquake and thinking, fucking hell. And it's such an iconic series that 2 things. Chronologically, when I spoke to Brian Talbot at the Luther Arkwright signing, I said to him how excited I was for the Nemesis Warlock. It's this big favourite of mine, the Nemesis Warlock audio play. And he went, oh, sorry, what do you mean? Do you mean the Luther Arkwright play? And I went, no, the Audible. I've just pre-ordered it for Nemesis Warlock. And he didn't know about it.
That's a shame.
And I said emailed Pat about it and said, "Oh, I'm really looking forward to this," and he didn't know about it either. And he's tweeted about it, I think, since. I don't know what's going on there.
I don't know, man.
That's bad. Man.
Yeah, it's not great. It's definitely not great.
Yeah,
It's a strange thing, kind of comics in regard that regards. I was reading other stuff this week about stuff that happens to people's creations, and it's like, I never envisaged that happening, and this is where we're at.
You had a conversation around Punisher, didn't we?
Yeah.
About it. Yeah. It's kind of sad, and it's so idiosyncratic. It's so well written. It's just satire, and these are sort of strange words that became just our vernacular because we read Nemesis Warlock. I love the ABC Warriors. I think of everything are my favourite characters in 2000 AD. I absolutely love them, and they're so well portrayed in this. It does give you that OG 2000 AD feel. So it goes through the World of Termite, Volume 1, Credo, the Alien Resistance, Volume 2, the World of Nemesis, Volume 3, and then the Gothic Empire, when it really becomes sort of long-form storytelling by this point. It starts off as lots of little stories, and then it joins up into this massive sort of saga stroke arc, But great fun. I don't think you need to necessarily be a 2000 AD fan to enjoy it, because it's they say, don't they, it's the movie of the mind is the thing they say, don't they? But it really does. It brought back. I could see the Jesus Redondo's art. I could see Kevin O'Neill's art in my mind. I could see Brian Talbot's art as I was listening to it. But if you can, you'll be able to find Nemesis Warlock trades and stuff. You can find them on the 2000 AD.
This is like 5 hours as well. Are these audio? Because I love like audio plays and stuff like that.
Yeah,
I've really gotten into them. I noticed they're on Audible. I mean, I've literally, because I've had some credits on Audible that I need to use, so I've just immediately just got this.
Oh, good man, nice one. Good, yeah.
Has this got it's a cast reading, but do they have like sound effects in it?
Yeah. It's all that. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
But what are the other ones like? Because there's also like Slain the Horned God.
Slain's good. Yeah, I didn't enjoy it as much as this one. Slain's good. The Dread ones are good. What else I got? I got a Halo Jones one. I think there's a Rogue Trooper one just come out.
There is a Rogue Trooper one, because I've got that. Like I said,
you like Rogue Trooper? Do you?
I like Rogue Trooper. I've got some credits ready to be eaten up. So and they all of these ones seem to be like a good couple of hours. So
they're not. Yeah, for the price. If you got you clearly subscribe to it, but it's a good way to do it, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's the way I do it. It's cheaper to do it than just going and buy it.
Yeah. Sometimes it's like. I think it's like $7.99 a month or something like that for an Audible. I've forgotten what the price is now, but I haven't used it. And you have these times where you buy audiobooks and then you properly take advantage of it. But then like a couple of months go by, I'm like, oh god, you can have the maximum of 6 credits, I think, and they just stack up. I'm like, oh god, what am I going to listen to? So stuff like this is like, oh brilliant,
yes,
I'll have that.
I'll have that.
I like it. Because the normal price of like an audiobook, if you didn't have an account, it would cost you like 25-30 quid. For these sort of things, it
would. Yeah, it would.
Yeah.
The only shame is it's not. I'd love to have like a vinyl record of it or something. Physical media of it as well. But before I go on as well, I should also say that whilst we did see that feedback from Pat on Twitter, and I did experience that conversation with Brian Talbot, we have given 2000 AD a right to reply, but they just haven't. So we put it to them, and they just haven't told us.
Fair enough.
What their side of the story is. But yeah.
Cool. It's very interesting as well. I did notice that when I clicked on the Pat Mills credit, it took me to a different, because Pat Mills, obviously, Pat's got another book on there.
He's got Be Pure, Be Vigilant, Behave on there, isn't it? Yeah, which is which he reads, which is great. That is really good.
Yeah. But that's on a different. If you click on the Pat Mills on the Nemesis the Warlock page, it takes you to where that's the only title.
Oh right.
Whereas on the Pat Mills, I know because I've got the Be Vigilant book.
Yeah.
If you click on his credit there, you can see that book and Slain the Horned God. So I don't know why.
Right.
I don't
know.
They
fucked up the links.
It might just be a cataloguing thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, that sounds that's right. Yeah. Also, we've got Accident Man 2 coming out. Have you seen the advert for that?
Yeah.
Fucking hell, you look like Ben Affleck's face has melted. He says, fucking genius.
I look forward to that.
Yeah. The advert for that is off the chart, man. It's brilliant. They've spent. I clearly think they've spent a few more quid again than last time. Yeah.
This is done well. We'll try this again.
Yeah, I love it.
So Dan, what would you like to recommend?
I'm going to recommend Clear Run by Art92 Comics.
Hey.
And this particular one's by Helena, story and the art. And it tells a story of them adopting their dog, the Marty. I'm not sure if he has a name before. I don't think
they talk about that, don't they? I think.
Yeah, and how their dog Marty, which you can now see if you follow either Damien or Helena on the socials, they'll post up their picture of walk with Marty, and it sort of details his life from before they meet him and then they adopt him and take him in as part of the family. It's heartwarming, very, very. It comes across very real, very true. When there's a sequence when he's in the house, and if you've ever had a dog in your house that's like a new, they whine, complain, and bark for the first week or two, didn't they? While they get used to their surroundings, and that sort of really hit home with me. It's hard because they you can tell they're upset or nervous, but you can only do so much to sort of try and get them over that, and it's sort of slow and steady wins the race. And the joys of dog ownership and adding to your family in that respect really come across in the book. It's a lovely comic, and Helena's come on absolute leaps and bounds since a first scene.
Very good.
Yeah, when did
I think I get a full quote on it actually. It's quite nice of her. Yeah, would make you want to get a dog.
Oh, there you go. Nice. Yeah. I think I'm trying to think. The first time I saw her do comic book work, was it with you, Tony?
No, I think it was before that. It was in DUI1, wasn't it?
DUI1
with Al Henderson.
Yes.
Yeah. Oh, we saw her before. She had a little green bike. She did. What's that horror comic she did with Damien?
Oh, shit!
About being in the house and catching.
Yeah.
She
did that one, but she's come on absolute leaps and bounds, and this is another kind of massive jump forward in her art style. So love it. Art92. If you check out art92.com, you can buy the comic through there, and they've got Premortis, Galaxy Grappling Alliance, and then
Premortis, that's what it's called.
Yeah, Helena also runs drawing courses that she's done YouTube videos for. So go check them out now.
Nice.
That's me.
My pick. Give your voice a rest for a minute. Have your lemsip while I take over. My recommendation for this week is from Edison Neo. It is the 4th issue of No Brainer. Obviously, we have shouted about it when there was been a Kickstarter campaign. We'll shout about Edison's work whenever we get the chance. And this came through. The printed copy of this came through my door earlier this week.
Yeah, me too. I got mine here.
And they're lovely little books.
What sketch did you get, V?
I don't know what I got now.
I got the OG Captain Britain when he had a staff.
Yeah,
that's what I got.
Good choice.
Yeah,
I prefer the other costume, but that's by the way. I haven't got the stuff. I've only got the comic here. Okay. Yes, this is the solo comics anthology. 2 stories in every one, with so much more. There's the ongoing story of Thumgard. Final mission, chapter 4 takes place here, where the story sort of further develops characters, and both gets. You find out a lot of like backstory to a character. I don't want to spoil it because you people need to get issues 1 to 3 and then get picked up, because it starts off as just being action and then he slows the pace down, but it's still hugely entertaining, very interesting. I love the fact that like that he hits you with the action and gets you invested, and then he's feeding you like the character and the backstory and stuff as well as it goes on. But the art is absolutely stunning in that, and the cliffhanger is one of those, oh shit, things are getting real, in a really fun way, because this is fun comics. And it marks the first appearance of Kaiju Cash, which is a story I know Edison's been working on some time. I believe he spoke a little bit about it when he was on our show last.
He did, yeah.
If you like giant monsters destroying cities, and also a little bit of social comedy. I mean, it's an action comedy kind of strip, but there's a bit of social comedy in there as well, commentary, because there's very much rich people gambling on basically when kaijus come out and fight each other. As soon as that happens, people start betting on them. The people who are invested in this have to add another layer of danger to it, the people that are involved and bet have microchips in the back of their heads, and if they lose all their money, they go boom. So, and it picks up with one character who made a bad investment on the last kaiju battle and desperately needs it to go right in this next one, in the one that's just about to happen. It's delivered. I don't know how else to say it. This is like a black and white tale. Thumgard is full colour. I love the way Edison sort of uses it's almost like an ink wash style to his art in this. There is, when you think, because everyone thinks about kaijus, well, almost being fun now, don't they? People think, Godzilla's smashing a city and stuff, but these are monsters that are also eating a lot of people. There's a lot of death and destruction in this strip, but it's almost the backdrop for this character story going on. I won't spoil it. The way it ended, the way it built up was brilliant. There is action in abundance. He takes a moment where you've got like these actions, but then there'll be a couple of splash pages. There's a couple of double page spreads. One is a sort of landscape, which is amazing, where you see two monsters fighting each other, and in the foreground there are people with their smartphones taking pictures. Someone's taking a selfie while these monsters are fighting in the background, and it's those little moments that made me think that's what it would be like. Probably for some people, they would totally take that moment during what is essentially like a disaster happening to go, here I am with this monster. But yeah, it's like the action comes thick and fast. If you like flying monsters, a Godzilla. Edison also references it afterwards with his funny old grandpa character at the beginning. After the strip's done, he goes, "Well, what do you know? King Kong doesn't make an appearance in Kiramon. You ripping off Godzilla now? Derivative crap." He says that about his own book, which I think's amazing. Good old Grandpa Cassius, who is always there. He's the start and the end of the book. I can't recommend No Brainer enough. It's fun comics. It really is, and we say that about all Edison's work. This is the sort of
it'd be too big for us soon to talk.
Yeah, oh yeah, totally.
I'm sure he's chuckling while he listens to this.
Yeah.
He's a talent.
Yeah, and I tell you what, I'm so glad I discovered Snake Claws from the now, let's face it, defunct Comixology, because it's just I will buy all of Edison's work. And,
you keyed us. Am I right? I think you keyed us in to Edison.
Yeah, I was talking about. I was getting the Snake Claws issues, wasn't I? And each time it became a point where it's like, hang on, I think I've recommended every single issue of this as it's come out, and it's that point you're like, oh right, okay, this is definitely need to talk to this guy. And if you've heard the shows, go back to our past shows. Edison's great. So I'm sure he's got an IDW series coming up soon. Which he's the artist for, and so it's going to look amazing. But I still look forward. I'm looking forward to that and whatever comes next. And also, if you follow him on Instagram or social media and stuff, you see like the commissions he does for people. There's Jesus Christ, like his Usagi Yojimbos. Whew, just so good. So go follow him, get his work, and more. Feels like I almost feel like he's sponsoring us. The amount of times I've said something nice about him.
He definitely owes us. Lunch. I do like the fact that him and Martin are now going to meet up at the Singapore Comic Con, aren't they?
Yeah,
I think that's great.
Yeah. We want a selfie of them putting the thumbs up.
That'd be good.
Yeah. But Tony, what else have you got?
So the last one is Lysaparty, Once There Was Dancing by Sean Azzopardi, published by Phat with a P. Phat Comics, phatcomics.co.uk. It's been a few months since we chatted about a book by Sean, but his works a permanent fixture in the UK small press scene and also on the shelves at Gosh. Actually, he was a few tables down from me at Bridlington. We did a bit of a sort of comic swap as we'll want to in the small press, aren't we? And this one is the new one. I hadn't seen it. For those that haven't seen his stuff, much of Sean's work when he's not working with Gareth, because we heard about that, didn't we, when Gareth was on?
Yeah.
Is autobiographical in its nature, and this one actually addresses some interesting events in his life with a sort of, I don't know how to put it, maybe a sort of melancholic humour, maybe. Somebody looking back at their life that has changed sort of significantly, and looking back on the good things and the bad things. You know, I think the mistake that people do when they do autobiographical comics is they don't really dig deep. They don't really go there. They don't admit to the bad things, the mistakes they've made, as well as the good things that have happened to them. And this does that. It's a thick A5 colour comic, and it follows the ups and downs of his early life in London, when he was running club nights and restaurants and pubs and stuff like that, in sort of various degrees of success, in mostly around the sort of young London scene. And you see the sort of reflections in the choices he made, and some things that have changed and some things haven't. He doesn't always paint himself in a glorious light, which is kind of good for a comic. You know, it makes it interesting, isn't it? Including some fashion faux pas. A leather beret, anyone? I know you're prone to wearing a leather beret, V.
Always.
Yeah. There's some outbursts he has. You know, some sort of drunken violence happens, and he allows that to be in the book as well. And he sort of bookends it with old and young reflections and your life gone by. And I won't completely spoil it because I think his stuff is really interesting. This, I think, is his best cartooning. He uses a lot of sort of flat colour in it, in some nice ways. But he does really put himself out there, which I really admire in a creator. And I think it really suits this style of comic. There's a genuine honesty to it. And if you meet Sean, we had a couple of chats. He came over to the table, I went over to his table, and we had sort of humorous chats about the bloody woman singing on the stage, and this sort of thing that were going on, that were quite funny. So go and find it. If you go to, as I say, if you go to phatcomics.co.uk, you can find it. It's always on the shelf at Gosh if you're going into Gosh. Solid, good quality, reliable, insightful, and a sort of valued member of the UK small press, I'd say. There you go. That's mine.
Unlike this show, but we truly appreciate you listening to us anyway. There you go. You got lots of recommendations to go forward into the week with. We hope you have enjoyed us three ranty old men talking about comics and more. But no, thank you very much for listening to us. No matter where you were in the world, if there's anything you want us to talk about or shout about in the next coming weeks, we're rolling up to Halloween as well.
We haven't got a guest yet for Halloween, have we?
I'm working on something. But you'll find out more about that soon, because we do a Halloween special every year. If you didn't know that before, where we just talk about horror comics for a show. And so look forward to seeing what that's all about. But if there's anything else you want us to talk about, then there's several different ways you can get in touch with us. You can email us awesomecomicspod@gmail.com. Follow us on Twitter @TheAwesomePod, where we'll be throwing out questions. We'll be retweeting great comics and great comic stories, and just promoting nice stuff in the world that you should be checking out. If you do Facebook, go to facebook.com/awesomecomicspodcast. There's a great community of people on Awesome Comics Talk over there at the moment, there's an amazing community of people on our Slack channel. The Awesome Comics Podcast Slack channel is full of different groups that you can, from like Kickstarters to art to just fun draw-offs and etc. Get in touch with us if you want to join that, and we'll add you in. There's just a wonderful group of people on there. Thank you for listening to us, whether it was on the website awesomecomics.podbean.com. If you listen to us on Apple Podcasts, yes you, then just subscribe and leave a nice review. We're
got that review, have we?
We are voices on the internet, so we have deeply fragile egos.
Did you hear us earlier going on about how we don't care about reviews? Lying.
No, but we do, because we need this to really sort of give our lives meaning and value.
We ain't got much else going on if this is not validated. We're fucked.
No. As soon as we start recording, we just look out the window for 7 days until we record again. That's what we do. So we need a nice review. Thank you very much. If you listen to us on any other networks such as Spotify, Amazon, Stitcher, Podnose, Podknife, what are the networks we're on, Tony?
We're also on Pod. Be pure, be vigilant, pay decent royalties.
Legit.
Mic drop.
Yeah.
Can't say any fairer than that.
Boom.
What, Ma?
Where's my plate? Anyway, where can people find us online, etc. Tony?
Neverownanything.com.
There you go. Dan?
For the moment, you can find me on Twitter at Vanguard Comic, and you can read Vanguard at vanguardcomic.com. I've finished issue 20, and that's with the proofreader now. And I kind of fucked up because I've done 2 double page spreads. One of them starts on the right-hand page, so I'm going to have to somehow address that. I don't know how. Add another page in somewhere beforehand. I don't know.
Put an advert in.
Yeah. None of the other books got adverts, so kind of.
Okay.
Just
You can write something.
Just
I might just put another splash page in.
a splash page of a landscape.
Because you don't think about it when you make a webcomic, do you?
No.
Just fuck it, add another page in.
Yeah. Always learning, our butcher.
Yeah. Because I'm constantly fucking up.
At least you're going up. Anyway, you can find me on social media at Jester Diablo. If you go on YouTube, you can the mid-season finale of Safe Space is on there at the moment.
Yes,
the tabletop role-playing show that I'm doing. We've done 8 episodes of that. Go back, watch that. I'll probably be promoting it on my social media anyway. If you like people rolling dice and me trying to terrify them on a weekly basis, as I do with these 2 every week.
Have you got like a set story you're going through, Vince, and when it's done, the show's done, or is it an ongoing thing?
It's It's an ongoing homebrew thing.
Oh, it goes as long as it goes.
Yeah. But we'll see. Although I have paced it out, it's going to be like a season rather than like. There's not going to be like. We'll get to a certain cut-off point that will be naturally right to end the season. If you know what I mean.
Oh, gotcha. Yeah, understand.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we're on a little sort of break at the moment. But the latest episode's mental, so go check that out. And thank you for checking us out as well. We hope wherever you are in the world, you're doing okay, you're happy, healthy, making comics and just enjoying life. And we hope you enjoyed the last 2 hours of us just going. Yeah, where's my plate?
Want more?
Want more?
But come back here next week, where we'll be talking about more indie comics and making them. And no doubt there'll be some sort of we'll go off the rails somewhere.
Marv set fire to the laundrette. Bim, 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 bim.
So while you think about what that is, thank you very much for listening, wherever you are.
Some Americans probably listen to this. What the fuck is that?
Yeah, they think about that. Like most of anyone from the world who hasn't watched insert soap opera name here, they just think we talk a load of shit, and they wouldn't be wrong.
Yeah,
but we love you anyway. Even Tony does. So thank you for listening from Dan, Tony, and myself. Have a brilliant week. Read loads of comics, and as always, they should
stay awesome.
Bye, everyone.
See you later.
Bye.
You miserable fuck.